Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here and welcome to, at time of recording, is the third unboxing video for March 2025, although at time of it going out it could be April. So, although it's a March recording, it will be an April video, possibly, unless I get it out tonight, but that's unlikely judging the time. Also, if this goes out April 1st, this is not a April Fool's Day video. That's actually my least favourite, quote, holiday, unquote. So if it goes out April 2nd, it's more so to avoid going out on April the 1st, rather than the fact that it needs more time, although it could easily be for that reason as well. But more likely to avoid April Fool's Day, and I couldn't get it out on the 31st of March, so this is not an April Fool's video. If I was going to do an April Fool's video, you'd know what it would be. This is actually a genuine unboxing video. And yes, I know our April Fool's Day videos would say that, but seriously though, this is a proper one. It's also slightly different this time because we will be unboxing something we haven't really discussed on the channel yet. It is a comic book. But yes, we have unboxed a comic, technically, in the past. Like the second to last video, the first of the two March the 3rd ones, was the Spy Family Volume 13 manga, as well as also touching on two other recent things that had arrived and been opened, and one of which being the Azumanga Daioh Omnibus manga. And I have unboxed books in the past as well, but this is a UK comic, but it's not one that's eligible for under 18s. This is a 18+ comic. It is not pornographic. Well, okay, there's a few sexualized and sex scenes in there. Well, maybe not sex scenes, but it's sexualized and there is sexual nature in it, but it's not pornographic comic. It is more just adult content outside of the pornographic demographic, but does include quite a bit of sexual connotations, as well as also strong violence, gore, blood, and language. I will unbox it now, but I will say I got into this series fairly recently. I got the first two editions of this comic back at the London Comic Con in the winter one in November 2024. The first two copies, and signed by the authors of the comic, and now Volume 3, initially planned for release in December. This has now been pushed back to release date was technically today, and it ended up arriving today. After Amazon was saying it was going to be planned to arrive on the 9th of April, and then went down to the 3rd fairly recently, and then yesterday it went down to tomorrow, the 1st, or tomorrow at time of recording, if I get this out on April the 2nd, yesterday at time of you watching. And then earlier today, the 31st, it was said it was going to come today, and yeah, it arrived this evening. So, let us take a look at what this mysterious comic is, for those of you who are not aware. Okay, so opening up, I got this from Amazon, and these comics are available from Amazon. I think there's also another comic book store that you can get them from, that they've mentioned in their socials. But otherwise, Amazon. Okay, so box open, that's the hard bit. Okay, 3, 2, 1. And it's the back. I was hoping it was going to be the front that was to be shown, so that you could then see what it was. Okay, take 2, 3, 2, 1. Voila! It is Girls on Tour by Charlie Flowers and Danielle Frey. And part 3, The Waltz of Death, the third installment of the Girls on Tour comics, with art by... Okay, the names are... Oh, they've signed this one as well. Oh yeah, they said they were going to do all of the ones from Amazon were going to be signed. The full names aren't on this comic. They're on the first one, and they're on the second one. Jonath Park, Nicolas Salamanca, and June M. Gutierrez do the artwork. So, So a bit of context on why I'm into this series. So at the Comic-Con in November that I mentioned, I got volumes 1 and 2, the Deadwood Stage. Let me just get this out in this thing. And nicely put that in a nice folder and a barcode to the website. Do check it out. And there we have all 3 volumes back to back. 1 and 2, as mentioned, I got them at the convention, and the reason I got this is I noticed the posters. That which I also got there. I got that one, this laminated one. But yeah, I noticed the posters of some. I think it was another poster actually of some action girls wearing NHS paramedic jumpsuit uniforms, and just looking like it was a cool espionage-esque adventure thing. I think I chose this poster over the other one because the picture is a little bit better quality. Although to the Hollycan Facebook page for an even better quality photo. More on that in a bit. But yeah, I got the first 2 first 2 comics and the poster there, and it just looked like a very interesting comic series. And heard that volume 3 was on its way as well. December was initially the date, but I think it got pushed back to January and then later to today, with February confirming the end of March as the final date for volume 3, the Waltz of Death. Part 1 being, part 3 I should say, not volume 3. Part 1 is the Deadwood Stage, and part 2 Sempire Libera. So the basic plot of this series is that a quartet of hooker/mercenaries from Romania basically go around the world, specifically Romania to the UK, and they do sort of hooker prostitution jobs as well as also kill people, and part of their own missions if they're hired to do so. But they go under the identities of the girls on tour, like a group going around on tour to hide their ulterior jobs. Meanwhile, something is going down within the British Secret Service. There is some sensitive information knocking about, and also one of the girls, Zelma, is being followed and eventually captured by a group that she used to work with or work for, and they want to basically get some revenge on her, or some sort of payback. So the other girls have to eventually find a way to rescue her, and the plots are sort of going to converge together, I think, in the 3rd volume. So, speaking of which, I think volume 3 is a bit chunkier than the other 2. Yeah, it's a little bit chunkier, but this one probably has so much to do in order to wrap up. Part 1 is definitely setup. It is very much a setup. You learn about the characters, introducing their story, getting them to start with their tour. You're starting up the British Secret Service storyline. You're starting up the group going after Zelma storyline. Zelma is this character here on the far left. The one taking centre stage is Gabby, who I think is on the cover of part 3. Behind her is Anna, who is my favourite character of the series. She's on the cover of part 1. And then to the right is Elena, who is considered the boss of the group and is on the cover of part 2. Part 2 is probably the one that's the most interesting of the first 2, as things start to go a bit wrong for the girls at the end of part 1 and Zelma is captured. Meanwhile, the others have to try and escape from this party that they've got involved with, and eventually they get into contact with one of the British Secret Service agents who's following up another lead somewhat connected to what's going on, so they're going to have to team up with each other. And then part 3 is basically going to be the conclusion to this first 3 comics arc. Yes, I said first 3. There's more stuff to come. And then I'll just show you the back covers of these comics. I'll read out each one, but part 3 is the one we're mostly interested in at the moment. So part 1, for the Deadwood Stage, is and this will help with understanding it more. They come from Romania, they're beautiful and sassy, they like a little chaos. They play the piano. Oh yeah, Anna is mentioned to be, in the description, the roles the girls play. Anna is listed as the pianist, and I find that pretty funny. They hack systems, break into buildings, and they can do close quarter firearms combat. They're the girls on tour, and they're landing in Heathrow in 1 hour. 4 cool girls in London make some serious money, and they're straight into a gang cartel war, trafficking, and espionage. Okay, maybe I didn't quite get the plots fully accurate when I was talking about it. Writers Charlie Flowers and Danielle Frey invite you on a journey of mayhem and violence inspired by spaghetti westerns, 16 espionage movies, and 70s cop shows. Prepare yourselves, London is about to get a shake-up. And then that's the back of part 1. Looks pretty cool. Part 2 is where it gets more interesting. As we head into issue 2 of Girls on Tour, we find Zelma has been kidnapped and the girls trapped in the back room of the party. Time is running out and the girls must hatch a plan. Who are Dexter and Flick? What has Darius got planned? And is there something else at play? Join the tour as we dive into another rollercoaster episode. Oh yeah, Royce Lambert, who's one of the other characters, one of the MI5 or MI6 agents. Oh yeah, and also Dexter and Fleck, there's another arc going on featuring them as well. They're somewhat involved in what's going on as well. So we'll see what happens with them in the next issue. So I'll just get that and I'll put them together. And then we'll get on to part 3. I think there should be enough space for part 3 to go in there as well. Yes, there is. So I can get parts 1, 2 and 3 all in that folder. Alrighty then, back to part 3. The Girls on Tour has sworn revenge, aided by their new ally Justin Poole, who's the Secret Service agent they get in contact with in part 2. The girls hatch a plan to infiltrate an illegal auction in Whitehall and rescue their friend Zelma from the clutches of the vile gangster Darius. Across town, Meredith grows tired of the Serbian gang muscling in on his manor and sets Dexter and Flick was right, to the auction to take out the Serbian leader. With time running out for Zelma, could Lambert and the slimy politician Alan Havisham play a part in the final chess move? The girls are heading into the most heavily armed part of London, and success will be measured in minutes. Can they survive? This is the final part of Girls on Tour 1, Series 1. So yeah, there is more Girls on Tour to come. So I will take a look at this. I will read this in some point soon, hopefully. Volumes 1 and 2, I didn't end up reading them till January, so I've actually got some other comics I bought at the convention that I haven't read yet. I ended up reading those 2 back in January when I was sick for a week. So on 2 of the days I ended up reading 1 comic each, and I really liked them. They're very fast-paced and really good stories. Again, part 1 takes a bit of time to get going, but in a good way. I know that I've used that as a criticism or as a nitpick on films and TV in the past. But in this one's case, I can say actually that it's fine. That's fine. It probably does mean it's probably the weakest of the first 2 at least. Like I said, I'll get around to reading the third soon. But of the first 2, I do think it's the slightly weaker part because it does take some time to get going, and we don't really know what's going on too much just yet. Although it is a very good introduction to the main characters and to the first couple storylines being introduced. Part 2 is where it gets interesting, but again, some other stuff is being introduced at the same time as other stuff going on. So part 3, as mentioned, it's got a lot of stuff to wrap up, at least in terms of this first storyline. But since how good the first 2 were with the setup and playing the events across those installments, I have very strong faith that part 3 will wrap up this series in a very satisfactory way. And then the Girls on Tour will have further adventures later down the line. It is worth noting that this series is adults only 18+, and whilst maybe some older teenagers may be able to buy this online, but as the writers of these comics may be watching this video, it is my duty as a responsible adult to say that is not recommended. Adults only. To quote the caveman in the Horrible History sketch based on Dragon's Den, the caveman presenting beer says, "Adult drink, not for kids." So to quote him, this series is not for kids. And yeah, so again, older teens might be able to find it, they might be able to pick it up or get it online, but as a responsible adult and with the writers potentially watching this video, I have to say it is not recommended. 18 plus. If this was a film or TV series, it would be BBFC rated 18, almost certainly. Maybe if it's a TV series, maybe some episodes might be 15, but yeah, I wouldn't expect that. So yeah, 18 plus. Read responsibly, and yeah, have a good time with reading them if you pick these up. So before we wrap up, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Charlie Flowers and Danielle Frey, both for meeting them in person at the convention and getting the first 2 volumes signed. But also, we're pretty good friends now on Facebook. After I read the first 2 volumes, I went onto the socials, followed the barcode and went to the website and the social accounts, apart from the TikTok one because I don't have that, but the rest of them I went on, and we ended up becoming friends on Facebook. Charlie has gone under one of his other character names of Holly Khan, but do follow that account and also Danielle's account on Facebook. I think they had Twitter, they have Instagram, and TikTok was the other one, and of course the website itself. If like me and you got some stuff from the 2024 London Film Comic Con from winter 2024 one, the barcode may have been included, and they're coming back for the winter 2025 one, as well as other conventions across the year. So again, check the social media page for that. I think Girls on Tour have their own Facebook page and Instagram page, so yeah. Also, what's really cool is some of the characters have their own specific pages on some of the sites, managed by the writers, and so, but yeah, pretty cool to check out. And I've been given go-ahead to mention a few upcoming projects. Some of it is being kept under wraps, but it has been confirmed that the series will continue with Girls on Tour Windermere next year, but before that, they will be back later this year with What We Did on Our Holidays. Both have had trailers released already, teasing of what's to come, including the Holidays one featuring Lambert calling one of the girls. I'm not sure exactly which one. Could be either Gabby or Anna. It could be Elena. And it will be about Lambert's hiring them to do a job for them. So that'll be interesting to see with the What We Did on Our Holidays comic later this year. And also, I've been given permission to mention this. I was chatting with Charlie Flowers fairly recently before starting this recording, and according to him, there is going to be another comic, a Eurovision Boogaloo, that's going to be released hopefully later this year, and then Windermere at the end of the year or in next year. So we'll see how that goes. So Girls on Tour continues in at least 3 more installments. I'm not even sure how many installments Windermere is going to be. It could easily be another. It could be a 3-parter. So let's just say at least 3 more installments over the next year or 2, which is particularly exciting because Part 1 originally came out in 2023 and Part 2 2024. And although Part 3 was initially planned for 24 as well, it ended up being 25. So it's exciting to hear that after initially sounding like there's 1 comic per year for the first series, and now it sounds like there's going to be another 3, maybe more, over the next 1 to 2 years. So that's exciting. Also, I do want to highlight this poster again with the slogan, Girls, Guns, Espionage. Great poster. There's also another surprise project coming out that may or may not have been mentioned already on the socials, but I have said I would not mention that if they did not want to, so yeah, I'm going to keep that, I have been told it is, I'm going to keep that quiet, but I think the fans will like it. I thought it was a pretty interesting thing, and funny enough, you might even have seen, not for the Girls on Tour, but for another thing or two, You might have seen some of it in the background in some previous videos. God, I wish. So we've got some exciting stuff from Girls on Tour to look forward to. So I'm now going to put... I will breed this properly at a later date, but for now it is joining its sisters, her sisters, in the folder. And so we go. Girls on Tour volumes, Girls on Tour 1, parts 1, 2 and 3. So I guess what we did on our holidays will be part 4. Then depends on how they split the series up. Maybe there'll be like, again, holidays and Boogaloo will be standalone specials or something, and then Windermere is going to be series 2 or something. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, first 2 installments, very good. Really enjoyed them. Very great, fast-paced, fun, very likeable characters, especially Anna. And Gabby, who's supposedly taking on the mantle of main character, at least at the start of part 1. But Anna's my favourite, so... yeah, so some really good characters there, and looking forward to reading part 3 and seeing how the series goes forward, and with the other stuff that's coming up. So, thank you very much to everybody for watching, and especially to Charlie Flowers and Danielle Frey, especially if you're watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Oh, and if anybody's wondering, will I review these? Maybe. If there's demand for it, give me a shout and I'll do some proper reviews of all 3 later down the line. Otherwise, thank you so much for... Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, guys and girls, and... Anyway, thank you for watching this video, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne YouTube channel. However, after a couple of days where it wasn't really sure when it was going to... Excuse me there. After a couple of days of Amazon saying it was going to be... It might be yesterday, kind of, at time. Yesterday. The other character, Zelma's not on any of these posters, these covers. She's this character here. At time of, actually no, I don't even know. I invite you to a journey, on a journey, sorry. Prepare your, okay. The girls on tour have sworn revenge. The girls on... Okay, here we go. Okay, on to part 3. The girls will... Okay, on to part 3. The girls on tour have sworn revenge. The Gifts, who is one of the other MI6 agents, he's the one that they get into contact with in but out of the first 2, I think that does mean that is the slightly weaker part of the first 2. I will, as I'm expecting the writers of this, to quote the caveman in the One Horrible Sis. In terms of... So, I'm going to give a quick... that's my cutaway to the figures, and where I say, God, I wish. And I'll see you guys next time. If there's demand for it, give me a shout and I'll do some proper reviews. So if there... I wish. This is something to add at the towards the end when talking about the dates. And then it sounds like there's going to be more from the next... And now it sounds like there's going to be another 3 over